What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 11 of my Detroit Tigers Out of the Park series. In today's episode, we're going to be jumping straight into the offseason. Last episode, we had the Season 2 recap, and at the very end of that episode, we went and we looked at the offseason plans that I had. So to start with, we went and offered extensions to Riley Green and Ivan Herrera. One was for $10 million, or 10-year, $100 million to Riley Green, and a $50 million, 10-year deal to Ivan Herrera. Both were big investments, I think, into our future. And then we also went over the situation we have at third base and shortstop with Kris Bryant and Xander Bogaerts, both opting out of their contracts. So they're about to become free agents. And we have to decide basically between signing one or signing the other. And I'm thinking still it's going to be Xander Bogaerts. We need a shortstop. We don't have a shortstop. We do have a third baseman in Austin Riley. And something that I didn't do in last episode that I decided to do since this episode started, I decided to offer Austin Riley here a contract extension as well. He had an off year, so I think this is the perfect time to go out and get him for cheap. It's a 5-year deal worth $15 million, $3 million a year. He has a bonus in there. If he makes the All-Star team, he makes an extra $1 million, so he has that incentive to get an extra $1 million each year if he makes the All-Star team. I'm happy with offering him that, and even if he doesn't work out, I think his value there is at least $3 million with what he provides at this moment, hitting .243 with 10 home runs in 93 games. So hopefully he can even bump that up a lot more. I'm hoping he can hit around .270 with 30 home runs, 90-something RBIs, and at least a .350 on base. Something around there would be really good. So those are the contract extensions that we're waiting to hear back on. I'm going to wait until Xander Bogaerts hits free agency to try and sign him back because we currently do not have the budget to offer him a contract extension. We only have 23. He wants around $30 million. So we're going to have to wait until he's a free agent so that we can use this free agent money to bring him in. Beyond that, we have to go talk about our salary arbitration here. So we have about 4 guys here, because Austin Riley we have an extension offered to. But we have 4 guys here. We have Domingo Germán, who I'm going to offer this much to. He's worth bringing back even if we just trade him. I think he's worth more than this on the trading block. So he's going to get offered that. And then we have 3 very, very important arms in the bullpen for us that we're going to offer this defaulted amount to. I just want to bring him back, so I'm happy with that. Next, we have the pending free agent, Adam Frazier. We can offer him the qualifying offer, but that's way too much for him. Like I said in the Season 2 recap, Spencer Torkelson is now our second baseman going into the future. So Adam Frazier is going to become a free agent. And then we have our pending free agents here, Xander Bogaerts, Kris Bryant, I've already talked about. Cole Calhoun, we're not going to bring back. He was a nice DH and bench bat for us last season, but I don't see him getting any better. So I think I'm just going to let him go, and we're just going to use the talent we have now at the moment to be that bench bat and maybe even a DH. And then we go to our pending minor league free agents. There's a lot of guys on here that are interesting. Jake Faria here, he's an interesting starting pitcher. He had a decent season in AAA, but we're not going to bring him back. AJ Ladwig was also a good starting pitching minor league player. He had a good season last year, but we're not going to bring him back. Daz Cameron, I really thought about bringing back. I think we're set in the outfield, and we're also set in the outfield in the way that I don't even think he'll be on the roster as a backup outfielder at this point. So we're going to let him go. And then Pinto was one guy I was really considering because he has that 3-star potential. He's 24. He had a good year in AA, but we're also going to let him go. I'd rather just let everyone go here and keep our money than try and bring someone back that's not really worth bringing back, that won't help us this year. So that does it for catching up on everything that's happened. And I guess I'll see you guys when we hear back about the contract extensions, when we're talking to free agents, or where anything else is happening that you guys need to be tied in on. Here we are back on November 24th. We finally have our answers now. Ivan Herrera, Austin Riley, and Riley Green all signed their contract extensions. Mixed in to waiting for that, we got all of our award winners. So if we take a look at Best Defender, basically a Gold Glove, Evan White, wins it on our team. I'm very happy because that's what I brought him in for, is to be a defensive first baseman for us. So I'm happy with that. Reliever of the year, Liam Hendricks wins by a landslide. He had a really good year. But in third place, we actually have Hernandez, and then in fourth place, we have Munoz. I'm happy with that. They got real votes. They were the third and fourth best relievers according to the rankings here. Next, we have the Nippon Professional Baseball League announcing the guys that we can sign. I'm not going to bring any of them in. They don't look that great, and they're all older. This is the only guy to consider signing, but I just didn't like him enough to even consider it beyond looking for like 5 seconds. Then we have our Platinum Stick winners. Nobody won on our team here. You can take a look at that. Then we have our Rookie of the Year. We didn't have the winner here. Riley Green was down here, but they had like 4 guys in front of him. Blake Rutherford was an obvious choice. 306 batting average with 20 home runs in his rookie year is really impressive. The White Sox manager wins Manager of the Year. Lucas Giolito wins the Cy Young. And we actually have Hernandez on this list as well. Obviously, I voted for him, but he's on here. Just ignore Lejay Newsome. That was also me voting for him. So that doesn't really count. But that's that. And then we also have Mike Trout winning the MVP. And we have some votes, some lower placed votes for Xander Bogaerts and Chris Bryant down here. But that's going to do it for this part of the offseason. I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the salary arbitration hearings, and I'll be back then. All right, here we are after the salary arbitration hearings. Hernandez gets a big contract here, 4.6 this year instead of the 2.3 we wanted. Munoz also wins his hearing, 1.7 instead of the 1.3. However, we get lucky with Brian Garcia, and we only have to pay him $1 million instead of 1.4 that he wanted. And we also get Domingo Germán for $950,000 instead of the 1.4 that he wanted. So all of that's fine with me as long as we bring him back next year. That's all I really cared about. How much wasn't a big issue for me. So I'll see you guys at the start of free agency, I guess. All right, here we are at free agency, starting off with Xander Bogaerts, the main guy I want to bring back. We're going to offer him a 3-year deal with that third year being a player option. He has the no trade clause. He has $900,000 bonus for MVP, $150,000 bonus for an all-star selection. I'm going to submit it, and then we're going to hopefully hear back from him soon. It's a really good deal if we can bring him back. It's just whether or not he wants to accept it or someone else offers something better. But we're going to take a look at all the free agents that are available. There's Aroldis Chapman, DeGrom, Edwin Diaz, Ken Giles, Christian Vasquez, obviously Bogaerts, Wilson Contreras. Down here you have Chris Sale, Gary Sanchez, Miguel Sano, Javi Baez, lots of guys, Chris Bryant as well. Lots of big guys down here. There's a lot of very valuable guys. So it's whether or not he accepts our offer, whether we can start going after any of these guys. Right now, we don't have the money for a lot of these guys. Sano, though, at $7 million is very interesting. He's 29, and he hits home runs like nobody's business, and he'd be a really good DH for us, or even an infielder for us. Like, he could be our third baseman. He could even, I don't know, we can move him to second maybe if we wanted Torkelson in the outfield. I don't know yet. But that's a very interesting deal that he wants. He wants 7 years, $7 million. How much would it take for it to be, let's say 5? If we cut it down 2 years, could we go then $6 million a year for all of the years? Player option that last year I'm fine with. We obviously don't have the money right now, but that's I wonder if we can go $4 million this first season, and then let's go 8 the last 2 years then. Let's see if he would consider this. He's okay. That sounds reasonable. I'm going to submit that for now. Hopefully we get a good reaction from him because he would be a very good bat in our lineup, even if it's just as a DH. Because I really like his power that he'd bring to this team. So I'll be back whenever we hear back from them or we're making another move. All right, so we have a development in the Bogaerts contract extension. He came back and he said he was impressed with my latest offer and that he was thinking that he could see himself signing with us again. And then he comes back and says he got a better offer from Boston, and he wants us to upgrade the money we're giving him pretty much. It's very interesting. So now he wants $32 a year for 4 years, everything else the same. That's really hard for us to give him. I don't even know if we're able to do that. It's a very interesting situation we're in because I really wanted to bring him back, but this is a lot of money, and it's hard to compete with Boston anyway. I think we are going to have to offer him something. That we might have to go 5 years and then try going 28 again, maybe. Maybe doing this would be fine, and then we'll have that be our offer. Let's see. All right, he says it sounds reasonable. I'm going to submit it. Hopefully we just got that little step that Boston wasn't willing to take going that 5th year. It's very interesting getting he's going to be 35 in that last year, and he's a shortstop. So I don't know if that's going to work out in the long term, but I want him back. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. We just got this email. Speculation has it Detroit and Xander Bogaerts are trying to flesh out a contract agreement that would bring the 30-year-old shortstop into the fold. All right, so this is just a rumor pretty much. I'll be back whenever we hear back from him, or maybe we hear back from Sano for once. We're back again talking to Xander Bogaerts. He's came back and he says Boston upped their offer pretty much. And I think we're going to give up here. That's just too much. Let's go and see. Yeah, he still wants that 32 or 5 now. I can't offer that. He can leave if he wants. I don't really care. I have something else in store for us right now. I took a look at the trading block just to see what was available. And there's actually two shortstops here that are available that are pretty good. This guy though, Mondesi, 27. He's an expiring deal, I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, but I think we can acquire him for some pretty good value. So I went ahead and tried making different offers, and I finally came to one. So let's go to the Kansas City Royals. Let's see, there they are. This is the deal. It's sort of an interesting deal. We're giving up one of our top prospects. I think he's 76th ranked, in the Major League prospect rankings. He's going to be a decent guy in the outfield. He has good contact. He has good speed. His defense was questionable, which is sort of why I'm okay with letting him go because I don't see him being an elite guy. He is 17, though, so I'm a little worried that we're giving up a potential superstar in order to win now. That's a little interesting. We also are giving up Bryant Packard, who's going to be a good bat for the Royals in maybe a DH role or anywhere like first, third, left, right. It says he can play first as his main position. I know he can play third, though. I don't know. There's just a lot of tough pieces giving up here because they all have potential to go shine somewhere else. And then we have Quinn Brody, who's a 27-year-old that's been stuck at AAA. I'm not worried about giving up him. But we are getting a shortstop who is very productive at the plate. He had 296, 337 on base, 31 home runs, 101 RBIs. He has a good walk percentage and strikeout percentage. His WAR is a 6.5 last year, so I think bringing him in is going to be really good. He's fast. He's going to steal bases. He has good defensive ratings, and he makes good contact, which is what I like. He's 27, so even if we wanted to extend him, he's good for, however many more years. He fits into our future potentially. And they're going to take on 35% of his contract for this season, so that sort of helps us be able to hopefully have room still to sign some pieces in free agency. We still have $17 million of our budget space left, so it's sort of a replacement for Bogaerts. It's not necessarily what I expected us having to do, but it's a good option. Once again, I am worried about giving up at least Columbana here, but hopefully it doesn't end up biting us in the butt later. I'm going to go ahead and complete this deal. That is going to be our starting shortstop this season, and I'll see you guys when we hear back from someone else or we're going to be signing someone else. All right, here we are at Rule 5 Draft Day. This draft should be very interesting and almost important for us. We don't have a lot of guys in our lineup for depth. We have both catchers figured out, so that's sorted. We need a backup infielder maybe even 2, and then maybe another outfielder if there's guys available that I like enough. Obviously, that depends if we like them enough. If we don't, I'm not going to sit here and draft them for no reason. We have the 7th pick in this draft. We're going to skip right to our pick. Hopefully, nothing big is taken. No one takes any picks yet. One guy I really like that I really want to bring is Tyler Frank here. He can play every single position in the infield. He has good defensive ratings. He has decent batting ratings. They're not awful. In AAA, he's torn it up the past 2 years. Obviously, in 2021, there's 11 games, but he hit 343 in AAA, and then in 2022, he played in 96 games and hit 331 with a 426 on base with 8 home runs and 64 RBIs. His strikeout percentage and his walk percentages are insane. He has a 3.8 WAR, basically 4 wins. He looks really good, and he's only 25. He's 26 pretty much. So I'm going to draft him with our first Rule 5 draft pick. He's going to be really important for us in the depth, and I'm really excited that he was available because that was really one of the main places I was looking to work on with this team. It looks like we were the only person to draft someone since our last pick, which is interesting. I don't know if there's anybody else here I like enough. I thought about Mason Fox because he has 3.5-star potential and he's already 2.5-star, but he just didn't look that great to me. He only has the 2 pitches. He doesn't really have good control. His stuff is really good, and that is interesting because his if we look at his time in AA, it wasn't anything too great. We'll take a look at his pitching stats here. His BABIP is really high. He does strike out guys, though, at a decent rate. His FIP minus was good. His ERA plus wasn't good. So I'm not sure what to take from that. I'm not sure if I really want him to take up a spot on a roster when we already have so many good bullpen arms. I would like to see who our scout would recommend, and there is no recommendation. So we're going to go ahead and just end the draft there. There's no one else I really want. No one else interests me, so I'll see you guys when we're further on in free agency. All right, on the same exact day, December 28th, we have Xander Bogaerts and Chris Bryant signing with brand new teams. Xander Bogaerts signs with the Chicago Cubs. Let's take a look at his contract. It's going to be a 5-year deal worth $28.4 million. We offered him something similar to that. I think we offered him maybe this exact contract at some point, and he said Boston was where he was looking to go instead, so I don't care what he decided to do. We ended up getting someone else to replace him, and I'm fine with that. The fans are not happy that we let him go, and they're not happy that we let Chris Bryant go either. He signs a 6-year, $86 million contract with the San Francisco Giants. Let's take a look at his deal. It's not a bad deal for each year, but overall it's going to be a bad deal in my opinion. He's going to be 36, getting paid $13.4 million. It's not a whole lot, and I'm sure San Francisco can afford it, but it's just not something I saw myself doing. But overall, I'm happy with the guys we brought in instead and the people that we're going to bring in, hopefully, through free agency. We're still waiting to hear back from Sano. Hopefully, that's the next thing I cut back to, and I'll see you guys next time something happens. Here we go, January 3rd. We finally get the news from Miguel Sano that he's going to sign with us. We end up signing him to a $32 million 5-year deal, which roughly comes out to $6 million, I believe, a year, or it's for this year, then 6, then 6, then 8, then 8. I'm really happy with that. It's a really good deal in my opinion. It's going to end when he's about 34, and he's going to be a DH for us for most of that time. I hope so, at least. So he should be able to be worth that the entire time. I just want him to come in and be a nice power bat, hit a lot of home runs, which I'm assuming he will be able to do. I'm super excited about that signing. Real fast, I'm going to go ahead and go over a lot of the signings that have happened while I've been simulating. So let's start with the first signing. Jacob deGrom signs with the New York Yankees, $88 million over 4 years. That's an interesting signing. Not really surprised that the Yankees went out and got another starting pitcher. Wilson Contreras signs with the Colorado Rockies. I'm pretty sure that's their second big signing in 2 years. Yeah, they went out and they got Marcus Stroman last year. That's who it was that they got. So that's an interesting signing for them. Didi Gregorius goes to the New York Mets. They lost Lindor last offseason, and then they lose DeGrom this offseason, so they go out and get Didi to replace, I guess, Francisco maybe from last offseason. I don't know what they're doing. The Mariners go out and get Chris Sale on a $97 million 5-year deal at 33 years old. That is not going to age well in my opinion. Maybe it will, but I just don't think it will. Aaron Nola then goes and replaces DeGrom for the Mets. He was someone I was very, very interested in signing. We were just a little bit he was a little bit out of our price range. He was about $5 million a year more than what I was able to pay. I would have paid it to him if I could have, but he signs with the Mets. And then the Mets also go out and get Nelson Cruz, so they sign a DH. Maybe, yeah, he should be a DH for them, but he might have to play right field, I guess, since they're in the National League. That is another interesting signing. They went out and splashed on free agency. And the Miami, I think it's Diamond Dogs or something, they go out and get Vasquez for 4 years, $57 million. That's not a bad contract. He should be a good catcher for them. That leaves us, though, in an interesting situation. Let's take a look at the front office, and we have $17 million for free agents left. I'm not sure what to do because our lineup now, let's go ahead first of all and bring Sano to the roster. Let me see what AJ Hinton wants to do with the lineups. So he wants to start Sano over Evan White. I'm not a huge fan of that. There's also Tyler Frank starting over Torkelson at second base, which I'm also not isn't going to happen. Let me go ahead and set the game strategy to start him at second base and then start Sano at DH, I think is what I'm going to have to do as well. We're going to go ahead and do DH and then see how the lineup shakes up there. So it's Mondesi leading off, then Riley Green, then Torkelson, then Sano, then Riley, then Cespedes, then Evan White, then Trey Harrison, then Ivan Herrera. I'm really liking the look of that lineup. We have our backup outfielder, backup infielder, and our backup catcher. Maybe one more big bat in the lineup would be good. I like Cal, though, being a pinch hitter for us in some situations. Also, Tyler Frank is a decent bat. Derek Hill's more of a defensive outfielder, substitution maybe. I would like another power bat, though, to come off the bench. Besides that, I'm really liking our lineup. Our starting rotation can definitely use some work. Right now it's Casey Mize, Matt Manning, LeJay Newsome, and Tukey that are pretty much locks in that spot. I would like to get an ace. I just don't know if we're going to be good enough to go out and trade for an ace again and then regret it later. Right now it's Domingo Herman in that fifth spot. Our bullpen is set. I don't want to touch any of this. This is a great bullpen in my opinion. We have Doval and King here. They're both 3-star overall. They both have decent stats. I think they're going to have really good seasons next year. We have a really good bullpen. I'm really happy with that. We have really good setup guys and closers, and even our middle relief could be setup guys or closers. So I'm really happy with that. Let's take a look at what we could spend our money on in free agency. There's not too much available. I would have loved it if there was a starting pitcher available, but there's not. Guys that I'm looking at are Aroldis Chapman, Diaz. Those are in our price range, and they're really elite bullpen arms. Most of the bats I'm not really looking at. Starting pitching-wise, there's Jose Barrios here. I'm not feeling him. He's not someone I'm really considering. Mike Clevenger, I'm not really considering either. I don't really love what he brings to the table. He's just not really ace material, I don't think. And it's just not worth it to go out and sign a starting pitcher if they're not an ace. Sonny Gray is here. He does have the long injury, though, so I'm definitely not bringing him back. Beyond that, there's not really anybody available. So my plan at this time probably is maybe a Joey Gallo. Probably not. Adam Frazier's still here, $10 million a year. That wouldn't be a bad option. I don't really think it's going to happen, though. I think it's going to be trading for an ace would be the next move we make, and if that's assuming that we even trade for someone, I think this might be the roster we go with into the spring training outside of getting another bat for the bench. All right, here's the last bench bat I decided to go with. We went with Jesus Aguilar. We're going to try and get him for $1 million 1-year deal. It's very cheap. We're going to head and submit the offer. Hopefully we can get him to be a bench bat for us. Maybe even a DH option if we wanted to give Sano a break. But for now, that's all the moves I'm gonna make for probably a good while. The only other move I can see us making the rest of this offseason is a big trade. I don't see us making any other moves though. So I'll see you guys when we hear back from our bench bat. All right, one of the last things I want to do in this episode that's going to be a big part is redoing our entire staff, basically. The only guys that I think might even be somewhat safe are maybe AJ Hinch. Rob Dibble is someone that he's probably the best scout we can get. So I think he's probably going to be safe. It's just hard to find people that'll work well with him. And then Logan White, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how he does. He probably will be safe just because I don't feel like replacing him just yet. And I don't really see the need for an assistant GM being anything special. So we'll just go and replace the bench coach, pitching coach, hitting coach, first base, and third base. More than likely, every single one of these guys is going to be replaced. Even the trainer is going to be replaced. So I'll probably be back when I have almost every single one of these guys replaced and more of a plan in place of who's getting kept out of the 3 guys I mentioned and who's not being kept. All right, here we are, February 14th. I went and I finally decided how to spend our free agent budget that was left. I offered Edwin Diaz a 2-year, $8 million a year contract with the second year being a team option. He is a really good pitcher. I don't know why no one's picked him up. I really like what he brings. Our scouts saying he's better than OSA is saying. So I really like what he could bring. He's exactly what we need. Maybe even as a closer. I don't know what our new manager is going to decide to do there. We can take a look also at some other transactions that have happened. So let's just go to the lineup. So I got Aguilar. He decided to sign with us. I think he's going to be a good power bat off the bench. And then we also went and we picked up a relief arm off of the waivers. We went out and we've got in, Dennis Santana here. He looks decent. He did good last year in Oakland. I think he could be a really good arm for us. I don't know where he'll fit in necessarily because we have so many relief arms. But worst case scenario, we have to just send some guys down that need some more time. I'm fine with that. We have so many arms now, and he's just the icing on top that we have the ability to just bring him in, and he's not even an important piece for us. Finally, I went ahead and I redid the entire staff except for our scouting director, Rob Dibble, who is the best we're going to get. He's outstanding or legendary in every single category here, so I don't want to get rid of him even if he doesn't fit in with the rest of our guys. Hopefully it still works. I went out and I got everyone that was either personable or normal, and then none of them struggled with personable or normal. Obviously, Dibble struggles with personable, but it's only 3 guys, so I'm fine with it. And then hopefully and then I tried to find people that worked well with personable and normal. It wasn't necessarily perfect, but a lot of them did. So our new assistant GM is John Murphy. He fit everything that I liked on overall roster strategy. I like everything that he saw in this. I wasn't really sure what ratings to look for, so that was the main thing I looked at because I usually just do everything that an assistant GM would do. He just really looks at a few things. I don't really need his input on trades or anything, so I just brought him in. Our new manager is Brady Williams. It was hard to find a good manager, but he fit best with what I wanted. I liked a lot of his manager attributes here. There was no amazing manager, and then also in 2021 and 2022, he did decent with his AAA team. He won Manager of the Year in 2022 in AAA. He had a really good record. He won round 2 of the playoffs in AAA. Take that with what you will. I'm pretty sure that's winning the playoffs in AAA. I'm not sure, but he did good there. I like what he has potentially as a manager in the future. He's still kind of young for a manager, only 43, so I liked him. And then from here on, it was really just bringing in guys that fit personality-wise and less of their attributes, because I just needed people that would have our staff cohesion allow it to be way higher than feuding, which is still what it's at because of the last regime that was in here. We went and got Todd Black as our bench coach. I didn't really know what ratings to look for here, but he looked good everywhere, so I just went ahead and got him. He had a decent reputation, which is also something I looked for, was just something average and above. So he is our bench coach. Our pitching coach is Don Cooper. I looked for teach pitching here. His is legendary, so I was fine with that. He fit in with the personalities that our team had. Hitting coach, Joey DeMonte, he had good teaching hitting here, so that's why I brought him in, and he fit personality-wise. And then we go to first base coach, Jason LaRue. He was kind of just a throw-in. He's not anything special. He has unproven reputation. There was no one I liked for the first base coaching job, so that's why he was just brought in. Chip Hale is actually someone I did keep from our last regime as the third base coach. He was good. He fit in personality-wise. He's a normal, and he doesn't struggle with any of the personalities that we have, and he doesn't work well with any of the personalities we have either. But as long as it doesn't negatively affect us, I was fine with keeping him. He's a good coach. He's legendary at teaching catching and infield, so I was fine with just keeping him and not worrying about finding someone new. Like I said, Rob Dibble, still our scouting director. Really, really good scout. Hopefully it works out with him being able to just ignore everyone else on the staff. And then we brought in a new team trainer, Rick Jameson. He looks decent. He has good and above on everything. He focuses on prevention, which is what I like. I like to prevent the injuries, especially how he has legendary and outstanding in arm and leg. Back is excellent. His fatigue recovery is outstanding. I'm really happy with all of those stats and ratings there for him. I'm happy with this so far. I hope it translates to on-the-field success. If it doesn't, I'm not sure what I'm going to do then. But for now, this is what our staff is looking like. Our team is pretty much set until spring training, which is about less than a month away. So I'm probably just going to end the episode here. If anything happens, I'll just go over it in next episode. Pause. I forgot we offered a contract to Edwin Diaz. He signs with us, though, a few days later, so I'm really happy about that, and we can continue ending the episode. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. It was a little bit longer of an episode, but that's how the off-season works. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.